This month's question is a serious and even scary one. Given the polarization that's put everyone in our country under increasing pressure to take sides, can your authentic brand be canceled? Put another way, how do authentic brands serve their customers and continue to resonate, even when not trying to say the wrong thing and offend anyone is like walking a tightrope between two Manhattan skyscrapers? The good news is that it's possible. And while it's trickier, it's even possible for brands who don't always follow the conventional business wisdom of going Swiss neutral and just staying out of it. While I won't be getting into whether or not you and your brand should take a bold stance on some hot button political issue, I will go on record as saying this thorny topic, like most branding topics, comes down to motives, integrity, and especially the brand identity you've already been forging. For example, if you or your PR team or your young hip TikTok savvy intern are thinking it's time to speak up on a social issue, the first question I would ask is, would doing so make sense given who we really are? Would joining the conversation on one side or the other vibe with our brand's authentic identity? Would it be a clear and logical extension of our values, who we are and who our customers know that we are? Would it go with the purpose behind everything that we do? Or not so much? Believe it or not, the best defense against getting canceled is a good offense. By that I mean that brands and companies who, for any number of reasons, step away from the consistent, authentic identity that they've built to score political or social points, they pay the biggest price, and they usually see the biggest backlash. That's because stepping out into a dicey conversation that has no connection to what you do and who you are isn't a genuine thing to do. People do it all the time, and brands do it, but that doesn't make it a good move. On the other hand, if your brand has a clear ideological strain from the beginning, if you're, say, Ben & Jerry's or Chick-fil-A or Rolling Stone magazine, and if your values and actions have reflected those leanings for a long time, taking a stand and risking backlash might be more consistent with who you really are. To summarize this point, a brand that knows itself through and through is less likely to be canceled because it's more likely to navigate political and cultural winds with an even keel and in a way that's consistent with its purpose and values. An authentic brand is one that's done the hard work of finding its frequency, knowing its purpose, and building a presence and expression that reflects its values. Brands like that aren't likely to be canceled, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, knowing themselves through and through, they're less likely to get caught in a dicey situation. Even where there's temptation to speak up or donate to a super PAC or take one political side, a brand that knows its identity through and through will be better able to decide and less prone to peer pressure, fear of missing out, or brand wagoning because someone in the PR department hit the panic button. And number two, brands that know themselves already know what they think. If your brand's been around a long time, then this might be you. You might have a pretty good sense of what conversations, stances, or lack thereof would align with your purpose and your values. In any case, you're more likely to have flushed out your thinking before some of these conversations arise. Any stance you take or don't take is aligned with everything else you're already doing. This applies even if you've been vocal or active on one side of the conversation. If, for example, you're Ben & Jerry's, your fair trade ice cream will probably sync well with other political stances that you've taken over the years. An initiative like that makes sense, and it goes with the grain of the ethics and values you have cared about since day one. The environment, global poverty, Birkenstock wearing. Either one, being vocal won't shock anyone, and while it might not convert wary customers who line up on the other side of the political aisle, they won't feel betrayed. Who knows? If your fair trade ice cream's good enough, they might even shell out $8 for a pint of it. On the other hand, if you're comedian Dave Chappelle, the heat you're taking for some of your non-PC stand-up jokes will probably blow over because it's right on brand. It's authentic to Dave Chappelle. You've always been the guy who says whatever he thinks and skewers everyone regardless of how sensitive the topic is. Whatever side you're on, if you're grounded in your values, your purpose, and your core beliefs, you're operating from an authentic place. Whatever the case, you probably won't fall into the pressure many brands and companies do by thinking this: everyone's talking about this issue, we need to react. We need to say something fast. stances taken under pressure, or from fear of not seeming to be with the times or even backtracking, these feel like backpedaling. Groveling apologies after the fact usually don't help. Remember, if getting active on social media is a sensitive conversation and it doesn't vibe with who you really are, there's a lot of wisdom in just staying out of it for the sake of your own brand and being true to it. This might mean taking inventory, even if your brand's values are well defined. In a time where it's easier than ever to offend someone, it doesn't hurt to ask, who am I at the core? What do I stand for on a day-to-day basis? What's vital, important, and indispensable to my brand's identity? What do my customers trust about me on a deeper level? And if you're thinking of sticking your neck out, is this issue one that really matters given our focus and our purpose? Is this conversation one that speaks to the values, the ethics, and expression that we've been building with our customers from day one? These are tough questions, and I can't prescribe answers, one way or the other. But if your own answers come as a shock, perhaps it's time to bow out of the Twitter war and start fine-tuning your brand's identity. My last thought on this matter is that authentic brands are brands that look and sound confident. Where true confidence comes is from the intrinsic identity and function of an organization itself. Flamboyant attempts to look edgy and grab attention, they come over as hollow and inauthentic. Knowing who you are and what you stand for conveys strength, honesty, even humility. Living those things out brings confidence, and there's really no substitute for that kind of confidence. That's why I'm on record saying brands with authentic identities, confidence, and remarkable reputations are not likely to be canceled. Trend chasers, copycats, knockoff brands that look like all the others, not so much. All right, so that was a lot. To wrap up, I want to reiterate some news. In case you've forgotten it, and in case trending topics, headlines, and everything else have distracted you, you really are remarkable. And your brand is remarkable even if you don't know it yet. If you'd like to learn more about how to discover your remarkable identity and work it through every aspect of your brand, then check out my book on B2B branding called You Are Remarkable. Along with the book, there's tons of articles and resources on our website to help you in your authentic branding journey. Happy branding, and don't forget, you are remarkable.